Holy retrofuturism, Batman! Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And my gosh, my golly, we are experiencing the second part of a two-part retrofuturistic, phenomenal Batman story, and it's just one of many episodes of Batman the Animated Series that I have never seen before. I have seen most of Batman the Animated Series before. I am a complete novice to this whole thing, but then one day, the corner of my eye, a blue silhouette appeared.
Yeah, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series. One could say, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we are talking Heart of Steel, Part 2. It was fine. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, Dragon, this is sort of the kind of episode that I really like to cover on Animated Batcave, because when we get to the landmark ones, it's just like, yeah, it's really really good. It's already been covered a lot, but I really appreciate this two-parter, man. I really do. I think this two-parter has a lot going for it. Like, it's not a perfect sci-fi story by any means. It definitely kind of has the feel of a crew kind of taking a stab at a sci-fi story, which is exactly what it is. But I don't know, Dragon. I kind of appreciate the rough around the edges feel to the whole thing, and I do think there's a lot of memorable moments. I think this is definitely Gordon's finest hour when it comes to Batman the Animated Series so far. And like we already said, this whole two-parter kind of plants the flag for Barbara Gordon as a character even before Batgirl. So I got to tell you, I really, is it like the best, most sophisticated episode of Batman that we've covered so far? No, but I like it. I like it a lot.
All right.
Okay, so background, my friend. What do you got?
Not a lot because we already kind of went over most of it with the first part here, but just to kind of go through the things that are worth noting. So again, this is also directed by Kevin Altieri. Again, the kind of the principle of Batman. They like to keep the director on both parts if they can. Of course, he did Two-Face, did Clock King, and kind of the Altieri special. Just a guy who really knows his stuff. One of the originals, of course, also directed a lot of sequences. He's one of the four kind of animation directors on Fantastic. Let's see. It was written by Bryony Steffens, who basically she ushered in all the Batgirl stuff. Let's see. The studio again was Sunrise. Big little thing I kind of missed out on noting in the first part. I wanted to kind of jazz things up with here. This is the first two-parter that was ever done by the same studio two times in a row.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a first. Usually, it's like one, like again, like with two. That sometimes you notice an inconsistency in the animation. Like for example, Spectrum did the animation for Robin's Reckoning Part 1, and then they had, I believe it was like Dong Yang or someone who did the second. So again, it's kind of it's why one looks far better than the other. I think it's Dong Yang.
Right, right. I think Cat in the Claw is a prime example of that.
That is the prime example, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first time they kind of kept it fully consistent. It's all Sunrise here. Again, Sunrise being one of the top three of the animation studios, in my opinion. Sunrise ended up doing a lot of my favorites in season 2. Of course, you say this is Gordon's finest hour. Sunrise did another episode that actually is Gordon's finest hour. We'll get there.
Okay.
Let's see. One last thing. Speaking of favorites and stuff, one of my nostalgic favorites, not the best episode of Batman, but definitely one of my personal nostalgic favorites, is a sequel to this episode it was kind of deleted from this episode, which kind of manifested in an episode we're going to get to in season 3.
Ooh, interesting.
So more on that later. But again, there is kind of a sequel to this episode. Some folks know what it is already, but we'll get there when we get there. It's one of my as a kid, it was one of the most impactful episodes of the animated series I ever saw. Very silly surface level reasons, but it's an impactful episode, none the same. Anyway, that's all I'm going to tease on that one. Let's get into this one.
Right, so Dragon, we ended the last episode with Batman literally dangling off the edge of the Batcave by some by his crazy like claw machine type contraption.
Yeah, basically the suspension arms for like when like aerial things get damaged, like his back glider, he's holding by the suspension arms. Anyway, so yes, he's dangling by. So point is, Hardak has infiltrated the back computer and is kind of made the Batcave go haywire, and Batman's in trouble. It's basically imagine intruder alert, but actually more dramatically compelling.
Uh,
Batman Forever reference
Alfred
there.
Alfred walks in on the scene and he's just like, "Oh my word!"
So Batman he frees his hand with this really athletic leap as he leaps atop the arms. Really some decent some realistic cape animation. As it like
Yeah.
it's kind of getting in the way a little bit there. He rips out the wiring and basically kind of like basically stops himself from being attacked by this thing. So then, of course, we have a fun payoff of the earlier line with this very same suspension arms in the scene where Alfred says, "Oh, I do wish your toys wouldn't play so roughly with you, sir." It's a clever little callback there in the two-parter.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
All
so
right,
yeah, go on.
so Batman's trying to trace the line that this hack is coming from, but egads, it's deleted right at the source.
Yes, so he's trying to get to the bottom of this. He's asking about Rhonda, like, did she get into the Batcave at all? Because in someone's access in the Batcave, maybe it was her. Is there any time you can recall she came down here? And Alfred, again, since he was zapped with the little taser, last episode, he wishes he could remember, but he just can't remember anything aside from bringing her tea, and then she left. And I love
Uh,
this bit. It's a little blink and you miss it bit, but I love how Batman just kind of puts
I'm
his
sorry,
arm.
Dragon. I believe I mentioned this the last episode, but it was meant for this episode. I apologize. I think this is the bit you're talking about. Go ahead.
It's a little blink and you miss it bit, but I love Batman extending his arm, putting on Alfred's shoulder, and says, "It's all right, Alfred."
Yep, yep. I love little moments like that.
Yeah. So let's see. So she, of course, then we have a line here which shows that Batman. At this point in time, Alfred, Batman still does not know that Rhonda is going to be a duplicate. That we don't. He doesn't know the extent of which we're dealing with robot people in this episode quite yet. We don't know about. He doesn't know about Robo Gordon quite yet.
It's like one of the few episodes where the audience is kind of ahead of Batman.
Yeah, yeah. So like, she's only human, It's like, oh boy. Speaking of, so we transition from that to Robo Gordon here. So Robo Gordon.
Oh man, Dragon, I have a feeling Robo Gordon, like tonight, is like the birth of a new in joke on the channel, my friend.
I think the "it's fine" thing, Mike, but I.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The "it's fine" thing. Yeah.
God, it's fine and mediocre might be a thing. And anyways, so Robo Gordon. This I love this with the Robo Gordon subject. So Robo Gordon, he's
He's very proactive.
that he is. He's talking to Hardak about. He's on the phone with Hardak, I think, talking. Well, basically, not even talking though. He's basically again, I think, because they have like that link within the wire. He basically talking without even being on the phone with him. Essentially, it's kind of like a unified head link or something. Anyway, point being, he's talking to Hardak about the Gotham Club and in meeting Bruce Wayne there. And again, it's creepy.
Yes, the Gotham Club will be fine.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's creepy. He's just talking in his office without being on the phone, and then Barbara comes in saying, "Were you talking to somebody?" And it's just
right.
By the way, little fun fact: Gordon's wearing suspenders. I gotta tell you, Robo Gordon has some style. Is Gordon putting Gordon suspenders? I know. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I get a bad.
No. It's like you're right, and I appreciate it. Like Robo Gordon does legitimately have a little hinge of personality in the time we do see him.
So Barbara's asking, like, who are you talking to? And he says, leave me alone. It's like, oh, your heart goes out to poor Babs here. So Babs is going to leave him
Like Robo Gordon has like evolved from "it's fine" to just like straight up being a dick.
That's the thing. It's so sad to see Barbara again, knowing how far Barbara's going to go as a character, to see her this early on, like her father's leave me alone.
Right.
Tears run from the room.
All right, and this is the bit I really appreciate, like her just like kind of running into Bullock and Bullock giving that like, yeah, what's going on there? I don't know.
So this is what I love in Bob. Bob, of course, I can never talk enough about the wonderful Bob Hastings. One of the reasons I fell in love with Commissioner Gordon, just that would always be my Gordon. Cranston's the only one who could ever usurp that, in my opinion. But seriously, Bob Hastings was my Gordon, and of course, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. But still, when he did stuff like this, where he took the humanity out of the performance to really show you that usually, Gordon and Bullock have a rapport. Like Gordon has, like, he's like Bullock's always like, I don't want to do this, Commissioner. Yes, duly noted, Lieutenant. He's always like, Jim knows how Bullock works. And we saw this very much done like Gotham and stuff, where you have like a Gordon Bullock rapport, right?
Yeah, sure.
And here we took out the rapport, and I think it shows so well. Where Gordon's like really just strictly business with Bullock here, and Bullock's kind of affected by it in the performance. You can see where Jim tells Bullock, "See Randa Duane at Cybertron. Just do it, Lieutenant." And he's just like.
Yeah. Talk to Randa Duane. I'm doing so much talking, I'm gonna get a sore throat.
Talk to that Russell guy, right? Just go. Talk to this guy. Talk to that guy. I do all this talking to get a sore throat.
Your sore throat is fine. Take lozenges.
But seriously, I just love that there's like something like not right in the DNA here, and we have another bit too, where Jim then calls Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like
saying, Dragon. Like that's what I'm saying about like Gordon just being fucking really proactive. Like he's sending Bullock on all these tasks. He's setting up stuff with Bruce Wayne. He's checking in with Hardak, and he's doing all these things practically simultaneously.
And remember,
it makes sense. It makes sense because he is a robot.
We should talk about some of the clever. I think episode 2 has the most clever plotting out of the two parts here. Because think about this.
I honestly think episode 2 is far superior to part 1. Not to diss on part 1 at all. Part 1's fine setup for sure. It has some good cliffhangers to it. And it's got an adorable Gordon moment, so I can't diss on part 1. But I think part 2 really does very much kind of take everything that part 2 takes everything that part 1 was setting up and just kind of runs with it.
It does, and that's a normal phenomenon for two-parters in the DCAU. Sometimes one part will exceed the other. Sometimes it'll be pretty even, like Two-Face. But that's the thing. Sometimes one part will kind of, again, not that it'll be bad, but sometimes it'll be like you really kind of razzle dazzle, and the other won't be like, oh, it's fine.
Cat in the claw.
That being an exception as well. Well, again, I think you have more of a problem with that one than I. But yeah, part 1 is better than that one. Yeah. Okay, my point is, getting back to the scene here. So. With the plotting, so Bullock, he's sent to Ronna Duane to be replaced. Remember, because the next time we see Bullock, replaced. So that's the clever plotting. Like, he's sending him there to be replaced. It's awfully clever. So anyway, speaking of which, he's doing the same with Bruce Wayne right here. He's seeking all the power players, the lieutenant of the GCPD, Rich, the billionaire philanthropist, who again, Hardak at this point knows is Batman.
Yeah.
So it's awfully clever. So again, so he calls Bruce and he tells him to meet at the Gotham Club, and importantly, Barbara overhears this as well. She overhears the call of Bruce Wayne. Like meet at the Gotham Club. I love that Bruce is Bruce being all. Bruce is trying to indulge in the pleasantries, being that he is Bruce Wayne in this scene. Oh, thanks, Commissioner. Well, right, and as he hangs up, basically he gets the short end of the stick for a change here. He gets the mid-sentence interruption. and you can see that Batman sees this, something's off here. Like, wait a minute, something's a little off with that.
Yeah.
I love that I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Like we zap out the humanity. I love that it kind of shows in our characters. It's a real subtle thing. No one ever talks about. I just wanted to bring that up anyway.
All right. So meanwhile, things are going haywire for Hardak Dragon. The little antenna ears are like shooting sparks all over the place.
Good animation.
And Rossum is pissed.
Yes, this is really. Oh, this is
like flustered Don Knotts right here.
This is superb acting right here.
I know. I'm just kidding with the Don Knotts thing.
This is the core of the Rossum character. This is a really good scene. This is where we get the first of 2 parts here of like why Rossum did what he did here. So this is kind of like the emotional side of it before we get like the factual side of it later on.
Uh-huh.
Rossum, he confronts Hardak on these unauthorized duplicates. He's very mad at himself here. He says, I don't know what I was thinking. Like the babblings of a broken heart. You know, he's just like Hardick's trying to logically justify just snapping at him. Like, it was all the Batmans that were broken. You've gone too far. You've exceeded your programming. I'm gonna, he basically goes to, Hardick's trying to protect him from his inadequacies, and Rossum, he goes to change the programming and basically shut him down so he can kind of reconfigure stuff. And we have this really great effect. Oh man, it's a great like Fleischer effect.
Oh my god, yeah, the zap.
Yeah, we have like this paralyzing
When I first
electrical
saw it, I thought he was just getting evaporated.
Yeah, again. That's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's shockingly violent when it first happens.
It is. It's the more gruesome version of what happened to Gordon and Alfred. It's just basically a full-on kind of hit with like an immobilizing.
Oh yeah, totally. It is the more gruesome version of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh god, he just hits the floor like bam. It's just
the creepy thing is, it's like you can see like almost like this fire. Trying to like rise out of him. It's like I said, it almost kind of has this like evaporating effect.
Like he's about to be emulated or something.
Right.
So yeah, boom, like he hits the floor. Rhonda's just questioning. She's just pointing out, like, you've immobilized the Maker. He endangered them. We get the HAL 9. Jeff Bennett doing his HAL 9000 here again. It's doing the hard act. He endangered the plan. You're endangering the mission, Dave.
He improved upon.
Exactly. So let's see. So then we see again more. Basically, all the power players in Gotham are being replaced here, and we get to see Mayor Hill. He's visited. It is a really clever little sequence. It's like a brief sequence. He's like in his office doing mayor stuff, and he looks up and he's just shocked.
I'm doing mayor stuff.
Yep. He looks up and then there's the other Mayor Hill. Like, oh god.
I'm sorry. I want to linger on this for just a second, Dragon, because you're right. He literally just has a stack of papers that he's signing.
Yeah.
Like he's just like there doing the most generic mayor business you could think of. Anyways.
Yep. So he basically sees he's visited by himself. No, I don't mean he's alone in the room, but he's visited by himself.
And I don't know, Dragon, there's just something delightful about like these evil robot versions of these characters.
Yeah, there are. You gotta think about it. Like we have the whole Fine Runner with Jim. We have the Fine Runner with Jim. We have we have like kind of our you gotta remember the mayor is quite sinister when we see him later on. He's really sinister and jovial about being sinister. Same with Bullock later on. Again, we have some fun. You're right, they all do it.
Oh, I love Bullock later on. Yeah.
And I don't want to pump in. Yes, we do. You're absolutely
it's straight up Blade Runner.
And of course, we have Jeff Sebastian, and for his
yes.
Anywho, let's see. Getting back to Bat. Oh, here we go. So the bat signal has been lit. Oh boy, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
The bat signal's been lit, and we reveal it's Gordon lit the signal, but the wrong Gordon. It's Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon has lit the bat signal. She's called Batman, and she basically come to Batman saying, she thinks someone is impersonating her father. Like something's off with their father. Maybe someone's something's off their father, and she can't quite put her finger up. But it's a feeling that she can't shake. There are no obvious signs, and she knows she sounds crazy, but something's off. She asks for Batman's help, and he says, again, he doesn't know what the matter is. Like, I'll do what I can. You're like, we'll see what's up, because he knows something's up with Jim too. He's like, I don't know, I'll see what's up.
Yeah.
Which, of course, this nice scene is interrupted by Bullock, and that just sounds a lot for Bullock.
Okay, I love this intro. I don't know what it is. I think it's like the lighting, the pick he has.
Yep, it's just.
I love the pick.
Where's Bullock always with his trademark toothpick because we can't get cigars on the show? Which again, no problem there. I think the toothpick's a little better, honestly, but that's just me. So, Bullock says, getting a little fresh air. It's just all cocksure and sinister in the scene here.
Oh, this is great, Dragon. This is great.
And again, Tegan, this is yet another great entry in the history of Batman and Bullock's arc in the animated series, where again Bullock is very slow to warm up to Batman. This seems like it's kind of like boiling to a head where Bullock's finally snapped. He's going
right, yeah.
It's like, what if Bullock finally had the strength to physically take on Batman? That's kind of like what this scene is initially. Now, so Bullock said, get a little fresh air, eh? How come I wasn't invited to this? this little get together.
It's just like right off the bat, he's just being super intimidating and passive aggressive.
Then he flicks the toothpick. Great anim. This is great. This is great Sunrise animation. He's flicking the tooth. Sunrise. Here's the thing. Spectrum is all about like the grand, like just an overall presentation. Sunrise is all about the little details. That's what Sunrise does.
Yeah.
Like the flicking of the toothpick. It's like hits Bullock, and then Batman has this great line. It's suddenly less pleasant up here. Before he tries pulling a bad exit here, Bullock bear hugs him and just
where are you going, Batman?
And of course, because Batman was about to leave, the grappling gun's exposed. And basically, as he's being riled around, he drops the grappling gun to the floor near Barbara. It's important. He struggles and Bullock just kicks Barbara. So now at this point, Batman, being the smart guy that he is, just in case anyone's wondering, like, oh my God, has he turned into an L.A. Snyder Batman? What's going on here?
Oh God.
No, he hasn't, folks. At this point, Batman, being the smart guy he is, and again, remember, he saw Rossum, and he Rossum did tell him he's working on duplicant-esque stuff. So basically, I think Batman's putting the breadcrumbs together here that, okay, Bullock's obviously not this strong.
I mean, you gotta remember, like, this is the big setup, because Batman's about to do something that he would never do if he knew that it was a living person.
That's what I'm saying. Basically, you have to assume like Batman's put the pieces together for this. Otherwise, we have a major problem.
No, and I totally buy it, Dragon. I don't think it's a problem at all. I think it plays very well.
Absolutely. So we have this great little fight sequence that happens where Bullock basically lifts Batman as if he were Bane, lifts Batman above his and just like tosses him around, like tosses him over like kind of the little, basically the area where the door is on the rooftop. Just he tosses him on the top of the roof, I guess, on the very top.
I mean, Dragon, as you mentioned in part 1, this episode is like, this might be the most violent episode, like specifically part 2, because like for the most part, it is just robot. Like Batman on robot action, and like you said, we can get away with a lot more, both in terms of like Batman being killed, being cool killing robots, and in terms of the TV broadcasting standards. It's like, it's robots, it's fine, he's not killing people.
Animators, especially of the superhero shows, they love robot episodes because again, they can they don't have to worry about like semantically like what kind of punch will kill a guy, what won't kill a guy. You can go all out with the robots and it's fine. All right, let's see. So basically throws Batman to like the top of the roof entrance, and then he just jumps. He basically a little bit runs with this. The weight of Bullock's like he's running, he's taking tractions. He climbs the thing effortlessly. So basically, for the kids at home watching, it's like, kids, it's not Bullock. Bullock's never run like that.
Yeah.
That man's far too in shape to be Bullock. They runs up there. Let's see. So then, of course, they take the fight to the rooftop here. Batman grabs a lead pipe and he's like, he tries bashing Bullock with a Bullock takes away. And he just hits Batman in the shoulder. Like, ouch, man, that's a really painful hit too. Batman takes there. So before Bullock's about to stomp Batman to death, Barbara, kind of a little bit of Barbara Gordon there, a little bit of Batgirl. She uses the grappling gun, grapples Bullock's leg, and pulls him back, and Batman then pushes him off the roof right into the bat
signal. Oh God!
This is the first of 2 times
this is like the most gruesome death that I have seen so far in this show, for sure.
And believe it or not, this is the first of 2 times the bat signal was ever used to kill somebody.
I mean, just Dragon, the most disturbing thing is just the way, like, after he lands, the way his arms are flailing.
God, that's so twisted. Just falls into the signal. Electricity. We see
then, of course, Batman. We get the jump scare of like the Terminator robot like jumping out of the body of Bullock.
And remember,
that's like some Halloween Horror Nights type shit right there, man.
I think you remember, Barbara doesn't know that Bullock might be a robot here.
Exactly, right.
So remember, there's that bit where she had tears in her eyes because, oh my God, I've killed Bullock.
I've killed my father's beloved curmudgeon-y partner.
Yes, and of course, a moment passes. We see the charred corpse of Bullock, and then the robot skeleton appears about to attack Barbara, and then shuriken battering decapitates him. We can never do that, but now we can because it's a robot. Decapitates the head right at Barbara's feet. Like, oh, they're in her hands. It's like, oh God, she just drops it, and then Ben's like kicking the head around. Says, yep. Looks like it's a basically, Batman puts two and two together in this scene here. Oh, it's Ross and must have built a duplicate.
So you realize that Batman would be just like a total fascist in the AI universe?
That he would. Alas, poor Bullock, we know thee well.
Oh man, I mean, I'm just saying, Robot Bullock had hopes. He had dreams.
Sure.
All right.
Anyway, so point being, now Batman's kind of putting two and two together here. Okay, Jim Gordon's probably also there probably is a Robo Gordon if there's a Robo Bullock.
There's probably a Robo Demic, one could say.
One could say. So it's really nice to be here. Batman tells her stay at a friend's house. And he's being really, she wants in. He says, no, you can't do that. You got to stay at a friend's house. It's not it's not possible. I'll keep you in the loop though. And of course, she's holding this. Holding this cape, says, please let go of my cape. It's like the great button to the scene here where she's like, no, you can't. You gotta let me come along. Again, like you can see the fire in the girl's eyes. She wants to be back here, but she's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Please let go of my cape. It's so pleasant, just so polite that Batman's being with her. Again, just it's a little nice. It's close, it's the daughter of his best friend. Like, it's like one of his friends. So, yeah, let go of my cape, man. All right. So meanwhile, Bruce Wayne. So later, Bruce Wayne goes to the Gotham Club where he is greeted by Mayor Hill.
Oh man, I'm sorry. All these Robo people are just delightful, Dragon.
So this is awfully clever too. Again, I just want to highlight our plotting again. This episode 2 is really tight-knit plotting. Where again, we don't have like the whole we have to go back to the office, we have to go back to the cave. We have
yeah.
We're thinking about every location we're going here. And again, they have the benefit of being we're in the climax of episode 2 now. Therefore, everything's kind of a little bit more meaningful. So they kind of have that benefit going for them. But Gordon is. We've set up, okay, Batman has promised I'm going to check out Gordon because Gordon's probably a duplicate, and I'm going to solve this whole duplicate, and I'm going to solve this whole thing. Where of course, logically, he was told by Gordon to go to the Gotham Club. Therefore, he will have a run-in with him. Therefore, he'll be able to snuff out what's going on here. Therefore, it makes sense. This is directly our next scene. It's not just like Bruce Wayne going about his day. It's like, okay, this is the next step.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Mayor Hill welcomes Bruce. Says. Of course, Bruce playing dumb here says, I'm going to become a member of, you're going to become a member of an exclusive club, my boy. He says, I thought I was already a member of all the exclusive clubs in Gotham. Not.
This one's new.
This one's brand new, but soon everyone will belong. And again, him saying
how
that.
Is it an exclusive club?
I love it there. It's so sinister. He's so jovial and sinister. Like, oh, it's like this Mayor Hill's like so winking the camera. It's like, oh, you'll belong. I love it.
Oh man.
Okay, let's see. So then we have this. Usually,
you know what I love about it is that Mayor Hill is like maybe a character that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Before this episode, he might have had like maybe 3 scenes in the whole show.
I think you're right. It's probably like 2, but I think 3. Yeah, sure.
Well, I was being kind of like generous with 3, honestly.
That's the thing. I want to say. I know, of course, he had a whole episode to himself with Be a Clown with his son. So he had that, and I think he probably had like at least 1, maybe 2 smaller appearances before, like being the boss. Like, hey, Jim's boss, tell him something.
So basically what I'm saying is that I really appreciate that a character that's kind of like a background ancillary character, except for a standout episode, like got this much like, like, hey, it's a whole Robo version of myself.
That's the thing. I gotta be honest, Tegan. You're absolutely on the right path here. Is that Mayor Hill, as a whole, he's very much just kind of a he's kind of a punchline character. Usually he's like the mayor in fear. That's his lot in life. He's like the damsel in distress of mayors. That's kind of what he does a lot of the time. Anywho, fun. We're doing a lot of fun stuff with him here, where he's getting a little opportunity to shine. So you're right, yeah.
All right. So he takes Bruce into a room, and what do we see, Dragon?
We see a room, presumably with like the other of Gotham's elite here, and we just see like their eyes turn red. It's a really well lit scene too. It's like this dark room, like this, like one like very select lighting. Their eyes go red. He'll then lifts Bruce Wayne with one hand into the air. Enter Jim Gordon and Rhonda.
Oh God!
So basically, and then Bruce has like the great line here. Him playing because Bruce doesn't know how much they know at this point. So he's still playing it coy as Bruce Wayne does.
Rhonda, this is what I get for leaving in the middle of dinner.
See, this line kind of saves that whole he left her at the cave in the first episode kind of stuff.
You know what they say about a woman scorned, Bruce.
So we have some great action here. Oh man, I love this. Bruce slips out of his jacket and he basically sweeps the leg. So he sweeps Hill's leg. He quickly leaves the room. He barricades the room. He knocks over this trophy case to block them all.
Once again, Bruce Wayne not afraid to get violent with a woman because she's not a woman; she's a robot.
Yep. So we basically he runs. He gets in the elevator. They all crash through the door. Of course, now he's fully decked out, but he's putting two and two together. Okay, now they know that I'm Batman. Therefore, okay, I got it. Either way,
it's almost kind of like a zombie situation where they're a little bit more slow than he is, but they're more powerful.
Yeah. So then they rip out the elevator panel and the wires and everything, and
it's kind of cool that both parts have an elevator action sequence.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're right. They both. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think. Yes. Great elevator sequences. So they punch the door open. They realize, he's not there. We have this anime spider climb. They're
oh my god, dude! The spider dude.
Should know this. The DCAU. I don't know. I know Bruce Timm's a big fan. So I don't know if that the reason we kind of had this in there, but they're huge Akira fans. They love anime.
Oh, okay.
In animation. So of course we have some anime spider leg action here, and of course we have some of that later on with Gordon, but we'll get there. Some anime spider action going on here as one of them is climbing there. We have Batman using the oxyacetylene torch on the cable and basically snaps it before they climb up there, and they all fall down in the elevator. This great. We do this so good. We see the exterior of the elevator basically per floor.
Yeah.
We keep going down and down and down, and
then we hit the basement, and we don't see the crash. We just hear the crash.
Then we see, I think the doors open. We see, this skull fall, and, some artificial flesh or something. Oh, God. Anyways, meanwhile, Barbara, she's telling Whoopi, I love how we're using Whoopi here. Whoopi's just kind of the great, background. Barbara has to narrate the scene. Let's have her talk to Whoopi. It's all cutesy. Let's get away from it. So she's telling Whoopi that she's going to Cybertron. Basically, she's used her own detective work. Yeah, we're seeing some Batgirl in the making stuff in this episode, big time.
What's cool about this is it's kind of a shade of the opening scene in part 1 where Bruce is like, "Wait in here, not likely."
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's really good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So she's put two and two together herself as Batman has. Where Cybertron's where everyone's going. She overheard Gordon telling Bullock to go to Cybertron. Therefore, he's probably there if he's not the real one.
All
right, and basically she's gearing up Iron Man 3 style, just kind of bring stuff that she's going to need.
Yeah.
All right, so she sneaks to the door. Again, she's by the way, she's wearing purple as kind of as kind of an homage to the '60s show. By the way, a little subtle nod. Fun fact. Let's see. So she uses the old compactor. This is a really nice trick, by the way. Of course, you basically the old trick of you dust. She uses her compact to dust the keypad. Therefore, she's kind of like fingerprint dusting. She kind of sees what code was punched in most frequently. Is it a buy that she would know the exact code? Sure, but let's just give her that. I mean, come on. First
right. I didn't even think about the exact code thing.
Yeah, it's her first time. Maybe she'd see the indentation, but he can't animate. You can only animate so much, it's fine. So
honestly, Dragon, I feel like that's a perfect we don't care because it just kind of went right over my head until you mentioned it.
It is a perfect we don't care. You're absolutely right. So she sneaks in, but she draws the attention of a very Fleischer-looking robo trash can.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah, it's just.
Dragon, I hope they have evil robot trash can droids on the Rise of the Resistance ride.
That would be cool. All right. So let's see. So I love this. Remember the way we revealed this too? Initially the trash can's falling, or it's wheels, and it stops, and you have the great score. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like that cartoony tiptoe music.
Yep, and then basically it has the Fleischer transformations. It's a really good kind of sporty design. And then basically Barbara's lifted up and she's brought to fake Rossum and Rhonda, where'd you learn these? Where'd you learn these tricks? A police commissioner's daughter, gets an education, doesn't get all her education in school. Really good line that sets up. They get Barbara again. She's on her way to becoming Batgirl in the future, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Where's my father? Here, you'll join him soon. So let's see. So then, as she's basically taken away, we see as she's taken away by Rossum and Rhonda. We see it's just it doesn't it's set up for Batman later on, but still it's kind of a random bit, and I love it. Where the robot then goes to be the opposite trash can to the other ones. Basically, it's there laying in wait. It's just kind of funny the way it goes. Basically, then de-transforms into the trash can with like little eyes looking, searching. And the idea, the practical thing is it's waiting for Batman to intrude. Therefore, it's going to be ready and waiting for him. That's the idea. Okay. Speaking of which, Batman glides the Cybertron. Hey, he fixed the glider. Good for him.
I love this shot, by the way. Just like kind of like I love how isolated Cybertron is, just like on that cliff overlooking the seaside. It's very atmospheric.
Yeah. So we see Batman. I love how we see Batman open the window and everything. The silhouette, how he climbs down. Good stuff there. And this is a really great shot here. So Batman's in the darkness, and they have these two singular lights kind of in the distance. And they rise. Basically, it's like we've seen the trash can transform, so we kind of have an idea, but we don't know 100%. And Batman does this dual batarang thing that he rarely ever does, by the way. It's kind of a ninja move. He basically pulls two batarangs out and he throws them, and we reveal he got them both dead center in the eye. He took out both trash cans simultaneously. Nice. Awesome. So then we reveal duplicant Gordon holding Barbara hostage.
Oh, man.
Which is so perverse, too, when you really think about it. Oh, man, it's her own father holding her hostage, man. That's messed up. So then we get kind of Hardak's motivation. Just Hardak. It's really good blocking, too. Is Hardak essentially being the giant thing in the room is kind of our set, but also kind of our big villain of the piece.
And, of course, like, it's a little harder to interrupt a villain monologue when he's like a giant, like, 3-story tall computer.
Oh, I meant to mention this earlier. That's why you mentioned it. So if you ever look, Tiki, I don't know if you noticed this. If you look at Hardak, the little HAL 9000 eye of Hardak in this episode, they added like they airbrushed like a little smiley face on his eye. It's like there's like the reflections, like a little white like smiley face, like two eyes and a mouth. It's really cool. It's funny. Anyway. Here's where we get Hardak's motivation, like why Hardak's necessarily doing all this stuff here, the big villain monologue, which essentially is humans are imperfect, and your mistake, you made a mistake coming here, interfering with the plan. And of course, he's asking what the plan is. And the plan, basically, the initial programming from Rossum. We learned that Rossum's plan was. We learned the plan was Rossum's once his daughter was deactivated. And of course, it's kind of a robot's take on death, and she died in a car accident. Led to the goal of let's replace humans whose decisions can cost lives. Basically, again, she was killed by a careless driver. Therefore, Rossum kind of went down the rabbit hole, being basically he's tortured by the fact that unpredictability took his daughter away from him. It's like if only we could control predictability and just kind of like human error. Essentially, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, I feel like it borrows from a lot of different kind of like elements of sci-fi. Like the whole like the artificial intelligence going too far thing, but also just kind of like the roots of just sort of having a past mistake in your life that you want to erase. You know what I mean? And kind of like the butterfly effect of it all. I don't know. It's pretty heady when you like kind of break it all down on paper like that.
It is, and while I'm not going to say it's a missed opportunity in the negative sense, because I don't mind that they didn't go this route, but again, it is an idea that kind of. That could have a lot. It's a very fruitful idea. Where here's the thing: there's a great human touch in grieving and the response to tragedy, which of course correlates to who Batman is as a character. I think that's there, and I think that's there. It's there enough, so I'm satisfied. It's like if Batman thinking about human error, like what if it's basically the mission of Batman, given like kind of a sci-fi, like what if someone had a response to Batman's tragedy, but went in the sci-fi direction? That's kind of what we're doing with Rossum. Someone had someone they love taken away from them by a random tragedy. What if you went the other way instead of like putting on a cape and cowl? What if you used science and technology to try and erase that from happening to anybody else? But it went, in the Hardak direction,
Yeah.
So that idea is there. So the point is, like, I think that's there. But I'm saying you could always do a lot more with it. And again, given the fact there is a sequel, I think they do more with it. So at the end of the day, it's I think it's all there.
All right, but who cares about all that, Dragon? We have Spider Gordon. Spider Gordon.
Yeah, we do. But I think we're jumping at just a smidge.
Oh, sorry.
We first of all we reveal that all the people. This is important because again, it looks like they could have just killed them all, but thankfully they didn't because we reveal he's learning from humanity to try to amend these such mistakes in the program with these new guys. Basically, I think Hardak's trying to nail out the bugs of like I'm fine. He's trying to get those bugs nailed out, maybe. Therefore, we see this bank of tanks with all of our guys who've been duplicated, kind of in suspended animation, essentially.
Oh.
Basically, in kind of like BAFTA tanks, practically. So in this moment, Batman takes the opportunity to. They're all distracted there. Batman he kicks Robo Gordon and kind of initiates a fight with versus all the duplicates. He's doing a really good job fighting all of them off, by the way. He throws Rossum into the tank, breaking it, which is awesome. Batman dodges, he dodges Rossum here as Rhonda's then. Basically, she tries the zap him. She ends up zapping the wet Rossum, who again is very conductive. So right now, he basically shocks the crap and destroys Robo Rossum.
Yeah,
he blows up. So then we have, then here we hear Spider Gordon. So Batman versus Robo Gordon, and Gordon's animated like a spider. He's running in front of Batman at top speed, but as a spider, man. It's so freaky and animated. It's cool. Like you've seen Gordon move in ways you never see him move ever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty surreal to see.
And there's the moment just kind of it's more disturbing than anything.
Especially just because he's got like just the trademark like mustache and brown coat and everything.
Oh yeah. So then it gets more disturbing here as Batman then takes a bat grenade and he basically tosses it at Hardak to destroy Hardak, who's giving all the orders and everything, and hopefully would do some damage. Tosses it at Hardak and Gordon again. In defense, it's like a drone in defense of the Queen almost. Gordon tries to get the grenade away from Hardak, and he doesn't quite make it. Jumps on the grenade and blows up, and then we see that like a moment passes, and then just like Gordon's like robotic like half this Robo corpse like lands in the foreground. It's horrifying. God.
It's also kind of legitimately sad because, like we said, Robo Gordon did have hopes and dreams and aspirations, my friend.
That he did. He didn't care. He didn't care for most things, but you know what? Yeah. He
was a very passive guy, but at the same time, he was very proactive.
Sure.
He didn't let life's pleasantries get in the way of his work, Dragon.
Look, at the end of the day, he didn't like Whoopi, therefore he had to die. So.
All right.
That's just science for you, anyway. Okay. Anyway, so after the disturbing Robo Gordon corpse shot, all the victims they come to. Everyone from the tank, they all wake up. The mayor and everybody, Mayor Gordon, Bullock, and Rossum. They all come to. Barbara? What are you doing here? This is rescuing you, silly. Really adorable moment for her saving her father. That's really nice. Good for her.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, while Hardak's kind of on fire, basically he'll be overloading. He'll blow the place up essentially. So he orders Rhonda, stop the one called Batman. And basically we have like Rhonda basically it's kind of a Terminator essentially. We have this great facial reveal shot here where basically she's like choke holding Batman and Batman like leans back and we reveal the skin gone from her face. It's all robot and it's like God, it's great. So let's see. Barbara, meanwhile, she's leading again. Barbara's really proactive. Again, her first act of heroism, the first time she's saving people. Man, this is a big moment for her.
Yeah.
She leads everybody to the exit. Gordon's hit by the little greeter bot. Basically, the greeter bot zaps Gordon yet again, so he's knocked out. Barbara deflects the beam with her compact, making the most out of that compact. Again, we're taking kind of in the 60s show, she had to be really we couldn't let her do all the action sequences. They gave her really girly stuff to do during the fight, but we're taking the girly stuff, we're making it cool here, man. She's using the compact practically. It's awesome.
For sure.
So Rossum, I love how Rossum defeats the little greeter bot. He just basically flips the off switch and that's it. He wouldn't know. He built it. Rossum leads all safely to the elevator, which again, considering all the elevator trouble we've had, maybe wasn't the wisest idea, but they don't have many options in this scene. See, Barbara goes back to help Batman. Meanwhile, you want to take some. I'm doing all the talking here. You want to talk about the Rhonda Batman thing?
Well, it's just kind of like Batman versus like this legit like half robot, half human like Terminator hybrid imagery, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then of course the kicker. Here's the kicker. So basically, Batman's about to be decapitated by an elevator as it's coming down, and it's just holding him there with that's enhanced strength of hers. And it's like, oh god, Batman's like goner, but he sees the elevator coming down. He times it so perfectly.
Once again, elevator action, Dragon.
Yep, and violence against women. You can get away with it.
All right,
yeah,
well,
you're right.
Let's not promote that, Dragon. Let's not like flaunt that.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry, folks. That came a little out of order on that one. Sorry. I was enthusiastic about the elevator things. Yes, you're right. We did get elevator action, but following that, we do stuff we would never get away with, which again is violent. Again, just like Batman killing somebody. But again, L.A. Snyder, take notes. This is how Batman should kill someone. They're a robot. That's how you can kill someone. You can kill robots. Kill any sort of robot as long as it's a robot.
Maybe the Snyder versus Batman should do a crossover with the Transformers.
Sure, why not? Anyway, so he basically kicks her, basically kind of sweeps her using his legs. He kind of flips her into place. He jumps out at the last second as she's then just standing up and about to just turn around again. The zombie logic. She's just about to slowly make her way, but she's then crushed by the descending elevator. I love how they animate this. It just kind of comes down like for a moment, like her neck goes sideways, like her neck probably snapped first, and then boom, just completely crushed. Oh god. Awesome. All right, let's see. So then Hardak, he's going critical here, about to blow up. Barbara helps Batman at the last second. Again, she saves Batman's bacon here. Really nice.
Yeah. Like you said, kind of good pivotal moment here. Kind of definitely a flagpole moment.
Yeah. Batman's taking quite a beating from these robots, too, so he needed that hand getting out of there. So then on the outside, everything's on fire and basically and it has blown up. Jim's asking, "Where's Barbara?" Hardak in his last moments, he says, "The plan has failed," and he blows up. And Barbara, no!
And then we just have a very touching father-daughter reunion.
Yep, he runs over to his daughter. They hug. Rossum comments in the sidelines. He says, like, he basically comments how far Hardak went, and he feels really guilty about things. Yeah, Rossum was a good guy the whole time, the real Rossum. And the mayor reassures him an investigation will show. Like, and the mayor actually being good at his job for a change, too. Like, hey, don't worry, man. The system's...
That's what I'm saying, Dragon. I feel like we really should have just, like, kept Robo-Mayor. I feel like Robo-Mayor is, like, more confident than the actual mayor.
Well, he's more I'd say he's more confident, but this guy, he's more confident than the mayor. The mayor's usually like panicking, like, oh god, it's like another maniac's taking control of the city, someone do something. Anyway, so that brings us to the ending here, where we have this little exchange here where Batman says to Barbara, "You did well, thanks." Anytime, and Jim says, "I'm basically Jim's pulling Murtaugh here, where I'm getting too old for this.
Let's get home. Let's get you home."
Of course, Barbara having that big setup line. I sort of enjoyed it.
All right,
let's go home, and that's the end.
Okay, so yeah, final thoughts, Dragon. Like I said, I mean, this isn't like a spectacular episode by any means. You know, the writing is pretty loose here and there. But it is a nice, cool, sort of attempted a retro-futuristic story. And frankly, some of the artificial intelligence stuff is a little ahead of its time, because I feel like it explores territory that movies like Ex Machina and Alita kind of explore all the time these days. And is it the most deep exploration of those themes? God, no. But, you know, it's cool that they're kind of like dipping their toes into the water of those themes regardless. So, yeah, I mean, that along with the fact that all the robot versions of the people just across the board are pretty funny and lead to some really cool action sequences. I love the consistency of the elevator action. Just overall a solid two-parter, my friend. Definitely a two-parter where I think the part two does stand out more. Like I said, not to diminish part one, because part one does have a freaking adorable Gordon moment and some solid setup and cliffhangers, but this is where they really just get to kind of let loose with it, and we see Spider Gordon and everything like that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, I basically concur with pretty much everything you said. Where it's like this is where all the action is. It's an episode where, yeah, overall not the most riveting story. Like, is it a Two-Face? Heck no. You know, story wise, but again, it's a cool episode, an opportunity to cut loose in regards to the animation in terms of like let's see what sticks. Because again, it's like the early exploration of not only just Batman the Animated Series, but again overall. Not that they knew this was going to be a thing at that time, but again, grander scope, the DCAU. Like, let's see if we can do robots in kind of in serious animation for what we're going to do later. We're going to have like robot stories and clone stories and all sorts of stuff, and Justice League years later. Like we don't get to that point without stuff like this. Them kind of testing the work, seeing what sticks. I mean, again, they know they're going to do a Superman animated show where they do robots on the regular for Superman the Wreck. They didn't know that at that point. It's like in relation to Batman, kind of the parallel of kind of Batman's obsession and basically being prepared is kind of like we don't go that far with the story. We don't really say as much about Batman. It's more about Batman in a situation. But again, it's not the deepest episode, but it's a fun one too. I think is kind of came out a little better than the first one. It's cool, really well animated, got some solid robot action, and again some fun stakes, and again bigger takeaway. And one thing I forgot to mention in the episode, I'm going to mention here in closing. It's kind of fitting that in an episode where Carl Rossum is motivated to create Hard Act because of the loss of his daughter, that we have a father-daughter story being kind of the secret backbone of the episode with with Gordon and Barbara Gordon's introduction. That's kind of nice. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dozier Me, Dragon. Dozier Me. Sorry.
All right. A copyright dispute gone awry. Riddles aplenty. Can Batman and Robin beat a madman's maze to save the day? Or will their fates lie in the hand of the Riddler? Find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with If You Are So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich?
We're fine.
Yes, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.